Hi everyone. Let's start with basic Python. But before jumping onto Python, let me explain you the growth of Python in recent years. As you can see on the graph is based on Stack Overflow questions. Those of you who don't know what Stack Overflow is a questions forum where the developers go and ask their doubts and questions regarding a certain topic. Be it PHP, be it C++, be it Java, or be it Python, be it any language, Stack Overflow is the most reputable forum. This graph is based on Stack Overflow questions of Python from 2012 to 2018. So as you can see that this is a curve, this is a Python curve growing from 2012 and it has been growing since. And Python has overtook many famous languages, for example C++, Java, and even JavaScript. And the reason for this kind of curve is Python's simplicity and compatibility. Python has become one of the most famous languages in recent years. And if you want to enter into the world of data analytics or data science or machine learning or AI, Python is the way to go. We'll start from basic Python and then gradually move to some advanced concepts. The course will contain theory along with codes to help you better understand the concept. So without further ado, let's dig into the course. We'll start with basic introduction. Python is a general purpose, high level, and widely used programming language in the world. Python has gained much popularity over the years. So now at this point, you'll be asking, okay, I'll understand Python, but what do you mean by general purpose and high level language? In layman terms, general purpose language is defined as a programming language that is designed to be used for writing software in a widest variety of application domains. So that means it's not domain specific. Python can be used for many things. It's used for web development, it is used for software development, it is used for machine learning, that is the new today's hot concept, and we can do some scripting with it. High level. So what do we mean by high level? High level are those languages which are easy to understand, easy to interpret, easy to compile, can be run on any platform, and can't be understood by machine. That's high level language for you. Yes, Python needs a compiler or an interpreter in order to understand it. And in comparison, low level languages can be understood by machines, but is machine dependent. And for the date part, Python was conceived in late 1980s by Guido van Rossum. Its implementation began in 1989. So now we'll see the architecture of Python. So this is the basic architecture of Python, how the Python works. So once you write the Python code, it is translated into a bytecode with the help of a translator. So once the Python code that you have written has been translated to the bytecode, then a Python virtual machine comes into picture, and this bytecode is then executed by this PVM or Python virtual machine, and the output is generated with the help of CPU. The format of the Python file is generally .py. So what can Python do for you? Well, Python can create web applications on a server. It can connect to a database system and can also use to read or modify files. It can handle big data and perform complex mathematics. It is also used for rapid prototyping. And as you all know, Hadoop is the most famous framework today. The big data can be handled by Hadoop. So Hadoop is the one that handles big data, and Python can work with it. So at this stage, if you must be thinking that okay, I can do these all kinds of things in other languages also, then why Python was introduced? So when it was released, it used a lot fewer codes to express the concepts. when we compare it with other languages such as Java, C++, or C. Its design philosophy was quite good. Its main objective was to provide code readability and advanced developer productivity. So the next topic is why Python? There are many different reasons to learn Python or why the Python is gaining popularity. Well, to start with, it works on different platforms. It can run on Windows, it can run on Mac OS, it can run on various flavors of Linux. Number two, it has a simple syntax, which is very similar to the English language. Number three, it can be written and expressed in fewer lines possible. And number four, it can run on an interpreter system. And what's so great about the interpreter? Interpreter can be run directly as an executable program. The source code is compiled and executed at the same time. So it translates the program line by line until it encounters the first error, with which it stops. And that is the main caveat of Python. So now we'll see what are various reasons for increasing popularity of Python. As you can see on the screen, there are basically four main reasons. First reason, it's simple to write and understand, as the syntax is very similar to English language. It's comparable. Python code is compatible with different OS like Windows, Mac OS, many flavors of Linux. It's object oriented. Python is a multi-paradigm programming language, meaning it supports different programming approach. One of the popular approach to solve a programming problem is by creating objects. This is known as object-oriented programming. So an object has two characteristics, attributes and behavior. Let's take a small example to understand that. If I would say parrot is an object, its name, age and color are its attributes, and singing and dancing are its behavior. To know more about object-oriented programming, I'll leave a link in the description below, or you can see it on the screen. The last point is, it has a lot of libraries. Apart from inbuilt libraries the Python has, it has many varieties of libraries. Because Python is open source, many different engineers and scientists have created different libraries and methods for various users, ranging from mathematical functions that perform complex calculations to those libraries and functions which helps in reading handwritten text. So as we are progressing towards the code, let us see what are the various tools available to write the Python code. First, we have IDE that is available when you install Python in your system. It is just a basic notepad lookalike IDE. The next is Jupyter Notebook. It is an integrated Python notebook. It is included when you install Anaconda in your system. It runs on a web browser and can write code in different cells, and each cell can be executed separately. Next is Spider. It is also an IDE, but not like idle IDE. It has GUI and number of features which is absent in idle IDE. And the last is Google Colab, which is basically a Jupyter Notebook but runs on Google Cloud on a browser. The main advantage of using Google Colab over above mentioned IDEs is the hardware of a cloud. Even if you have an old system that couldn't support processing power, Google Cloud can be helpful. But in order to use the service, you need to constantly connect to the internet and require high bandwidth. That is the main disadvantage of using Google Colab. Before moving on to Python syntax or Python comments and learning about Python variables, let us see what Jupyter looks like and let us understand how the Jupyter works. So first you have to install Jupyter on your system, and to do that you need Anaconda for it. And if you have not installed Anaconda on your system, I'll recommend you to please check our video on how to install Anaconda on your system. I'll leave a link in the description box below, or you can check the I button. So once you installed Anaconda, open up your Jupyter To open the Jupyter, click on Start button and find the folder of Anaconda and click on Jupyter, right? Or the other step could be click on Start and start writing Jupyter. And once you see the Jupyter option, click on it to open the Jupyter Notebook. The Jupyter Notebook will open in a web browser and it will show you the directory where Jupyter or Anaconda has been installed. So I'll go to Python files because this is my directory, right? So I'll go to Python files and these are my previous created Jupyter notebooks. So in order to create a new Jupyter notebook, click on New and click on Python 3. Another tab will open and it will load a Jupyter notebook. This is how a Jupyter notebook looks like. First of all, we'll give this Jupyter notebook a title. Let's say Jupyter shortcuts. Right. And this is called a cell, right? You'll write your code in here. For example, I'll write a simple code, print hello world. So in order to run the code, either you can click on this run button or there's a handy shortcut for it, shift plus enter. Now there are three ways to run code in a cell. I showed you the first way, shift enter. There's a second way which has the combination of control enter. The difference between control enter and shift enter is when you press shift enter, the code will execute and the cursor will move to the next cell. But control enter won't move the cursor to the next cell. It will remain there. So control enter, as you see, the cursor did not move to the next cell. It remained in that cell. And the third type of combination is alt enter. So what alt enter does is when you press alt enter, it will create a new cell and it will move the cursor down. So the difference between shift enter and alt enter is shift enter won't create a new cell unless there is no cell beneath it, but alt enter will create a new cell and move the cursor down. So for example, this is the first line. First I'll click control enter. As you would have noticed, the cursor did not go to the second cell, but when I press shift enter, the command has been executed and the cursor moves to the second cell. Now if I press alt enter, it will create a new cell below the previous cell and the command is executed. If you want to write a comment in the cell, the combination of it is control and /. So for example, if I want to write, if I write this command will print hello world. Now if you press control and /, this command will change, this line will change into a comment. If you want to know the line numbers on your code, just press L and the line number will show. If you want to change the cell to a markdown, markdown is when you want to give the cell a heading, a description. So if you want to change the cell to a markdown, just press M and it will be changed to a markdown. And you'll notice that there is no in written in front of the cell. So that is how you can differentiate between a code cell and a markdown cell. So once you write anything, this is a description markdown and you press shift enter, so this will be created. Now if you want to delete a cell, just press outside the cell, right, and press D twice, and that's how you delete a cell. If you want to create a cell below a particular cell, just click outside the cell and click B. A new cell will be created below it, and if you want to create a cell above the cell, just click A and the above cell, and the cell will be created above a particular cell. You can find many more shortcuts like these on the help button and keyboard shortcuts. It will give you all the shortcuts to run a Jupyter Notebook. At any point of time you want to save the Jupyter Notebook, just click S and the Jupyter will be saved and it will show you the last checkpoint. And if you want to close the Jupyter Notebook, just click on File and Close and Halt. It will save the Python notebook and it will be closed. Now the introduction part is over and you've got the idea of how to use Jupyter. So now let's see the syntax and move towards writing the Python code.